Nick, I gotta tell you, it feels good to be fucking invincible.
Yeah, once you beat the second dungeon, the difficulty spike goes down pretty quick, doesn't it?
Uh-huh. I mean, I know it's not the most engaging thing from here on out until we get to literally the final boss, but there's also something immensely satisfying about just knowing exactly how to break this damn game.
Were you supposed to fly to the volcano with the airship?
Nope, you're supposed to canoe your way over there. We're definitely not supposed to have the airship at that point.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, that was the whole point of suffering through the ice cavern.
Right, yeah, you're supposed to do the volcano, then the ice cavern, then the Citadel of Trials, then the Water Temple. So now we are actually back on track, but I mean, putting the actually we can do some side stuff too here now that I think about it.
The fun of these games was sequence breaking.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the only major flaw from the developer standpoint was putting in the items that give you free spells. I mean, like we pointed out last episode, that just completely shatters the difficulty curve.
Yeah, but would most people who played this game back in the day as intended even have known about that feature?
I mean, yeah, if you... Though, you're right, I kind of wonder on the NES version, if there were no item descriptions. You had to tinker around.
Yeah, there was nothing. You would have had to have accidentally used your staff as an item.
Right.
And you would have had to have used the right item at that moment. And
that's true. But it only took one kid at recess to discover that and then tell everybody that, you know, hey, this wins the game for you.
Come on, Chris, you were the only kid playing this game at recess at your school.
In Napoleon, Ohio, you bet I was.
There were
no, there was Max, too. There was Max. It's just we didn't meet until the third grade.
Plural? No one was playing this except for the anime nerds back then.
Dweebs!
Oh, you're gonna have to explain this to me. This looks familiar, but I don't remember it.
They're just buying the bottled fairy to unlock the next sequence of things following the water cavern that'll lead us to Tiamat. I'm just doing a little bit early so that we can get the spells.
Jiminy Cricket, there was a lot of side stuff in this game.
There was. I'm also going to run back to some previous villages and buy a basic set of spells for our knight and our ninja. The knight's really not necessary. He's basically just some free cures if you need them. But the ninja can do some pretty good buffs.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, really. So...
Oh, that's right, because buffs, you could just cast, you don't have to have any potency. Alright.
Right.
That makes sense.
And you can use them to kind of pad out the gaps in whatever spells you didn't learn with your... Oh, come on, Chris. With your white and black mage.
Well... while we're gallivanting about, kind of, picking up spells, guess what I bought last week at this time?
What's that?
I bought the Castlevania Advance Collection.
Yes. Yes, Queen.
I was thoroughly pleased with it.
Which games in the collection did you play first?
Well, I really wanted to play Circle of the Moon the most, so I started with Aria of Sorrow.
Oh, Aria of Sorrow. Okay.
I thought I'd save my favorite for last.
Okay. I mean, Harmony is definitely kind of the black sheep of that collection. It was the middle child of the GBA games, but
yeah,
I mean, it kind of, I don't know. It
was like Final Fantasy VIII sandwiched between 9 and 7.
Right. For me, I thought it was a decent game, but it couldn't quite commit to like how hard it wanted to clone Symphony of the Night.
Well, I mean, it cloned it all the way down to having the, after image and the ability to change your after image's color by putting on different capes.
Yeah, that's true.
All the way down to having a cape that you could edit the color of. So yeah, pretty blatantly.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you didn't get like the full array of like weapons to use. You were still committed to the whip, which was cool. The upside down castle thing was where I didn't like it. Well, because it wasn't even an upside down castle. It was just palette swap castle.
It was like a color inversion castle.
Yeah. Yep. And I felt like that was kind of an unnecessary mechanic for that particular game because Symphony of the Night did it, 5 years earlier and much better.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said it before, but I played that game once and that was the end of it. So, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to going back and playing through it, but
yeah,
you can believe that, like, David Lynch's version of Dune will be on the other TV as I do it. So,
right. Yeah, and it's kind of one of those
in the background.
Like I played Aria of Sorrow more times than I can count. That was just an awesome GBA game.
Can I just say, like, seriously, screw the naming conventions of that era of Castlevania games.
Music
Harmony of
Madness,
Distance, insert name of musical overture followed by State of Emotion.
Much like in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I get the feeling that the obsession with different methods of music being employed in the naming conventions of that game is just the director assuming that by adding them, there's meaning to be had, even if that's not necessarily the case.
I go one step further backwards and assume it just sounded better in Japanese.
Yeah. Harmony of Dissonance. Oh.
Yeah.
That was racist.
No, okay. I mean...
We're already demonetized.
I don't think so. I don't think doing a Japanese faux accent is the equivalent of yellowface.
it's not good, though. It's not.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and when you're a voice actor,
Japanese.
When you are a voice actor who needs to do, you're the only voice actor for an audiobook, and you need to do a Japanese voice. What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna do some boring ass white guy voice like everyone else?
No, you're going full on Master Splinter. That's what you're doing.
I mean, Shigeru Miyamoto has a specific way he talks, and I don't think it's disrespectful to copy that, but I'm sure there's plenty of people on the internet who would say that I'm wrong, so...
Basically, my whole Japanese voice archetype is the two men from the old Nintendo commercials that said we would like to play. And, of course, Master Splinter.
Right. Who I'm sure was just played by a white guy.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. I think...
But anyways, the
I'm missing some other spells for my black and white mage. Go on, sorry.
The Castlevania Advance games, pretty much what I thought I was going to get. Konami doing the bare minimal of grabbing an emulations from somewhere off on the internet and repackaging it. So, it was fine. I got what I paid for. An excuse to play through Circle of the Moon again.
This is good. That's really all I wanted from that. I mean, Circle of the Moon, it's kind of nice.
How great was Circle of the Moon with all of its different modes you could play through?
Well, more than anything, I'm just kind of looking forward to a version of Circle of the Moon that I can actually see what's going on.
Yeah. When they said that game was darker than the others in the series, I never quite realized they were talking about the literal darkness of the GBA screen.
Yeah, right.
True story.
You are not wrong. Okay, apparently these are good for everybody. I'm just going to grab two of them, though, for my mages, because I know I'm going to get better gauntlets for my ninja and knight.
Now, here's a question. Aria of Sorrow, is it better or not than Symphony of the Night?
No, I consider Symphony of the Night pretty much the best one of that style. I think it's one of the more creative uses of it. I think the Symphony formula was technically perfected with Order of Ecclesia, but overall, the GBA era felt like varying degrees of success in kind of trying to recapture Symphony's magic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a bad thing, because they did admirable jobs and produced some really fun games, but, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, what has the Mario series been other than trying to chase the magic of Mario 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought about
You mean
this
Super
really
Mario
hard
World,
last
but
night.
I dig you.
Yeah, well, sure.
I'm not getting
Well,
into this fight
let's
with you again,
destroy
Chris.
one favorite game at a time. I was thinking about this last night as I was playing through Aria, and I thought this is a really tight game. You know, the music is as good as it can be. The areas are interesting. Like you can take
the
away
areas
the
were real interesting in that one.
Yeah, you can. I have this kind of like little test that I do where
Whoa, what the
if
hell?
you took away the background, would areas still feel distinct? And yeah, I mean, all levels felt different. Oh God, can the kill animations and sound effects for just murdering monsters in that castle was wonderful.
Yeah, I do remember that. Like every time you got a new soul, that was super satisfying.
You know, that game was almost a borderline roguelike game.
Yeah, I
In
can see that.
every time you played through it, depending on the souls you got, it dramatically altered the way you play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I was really hoping I'd have the peeping eye by now. I guess I'll be using the Minotaur instead.
One of my
Go
ahead.
ahead. I was actually going to say, I do agree with you though. After a lot of thought, I do think Symphony of the Night is the better game. Its production value is better, the music is clearly better, and it just has a lot of advantages that the GBA just never could get. But
Right.
I would have to give that one to Symphony of the Night. You're right, but man, Aria of Sorrow, that was, like I said, that was a solid GBA game.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Words.
Oh,
shoot,
I remember. I remember the ferry now. You needed the
I
ferry
didn't, I
to get the
didn't
diving
talk to
helmet?
it in the damn village that we just came from. I went all the way there and did what I was supposed to do, except I didn't actually complete
I'm sure I was
fetch
blathering about something.
quest. Yeah.
Thanks.
Going back now. No, one of my favorite areas in that game was the underground waterfall cavern. That was cool. There was a sunken ship in there and everything. You're right. It had some memorable areas, and some that kind of stick with me to this day. And I occasionally will like the Aria of Sorrow map is so like ingrained into my psyche that I'll kind of I'll kind of forget where I am in other Castlevanias.
That's
Where is she? She's up the other way.
Oh, that's right. We let her out and then we didn't talk to her.
Yeah. Damn it. You got to take the long way around to get to her. Nope, that's the church. It's over here to the right.
That is totally not the Dragon Quest church.
No, it's not. Here we go. This is what I forgot to do.
Oh,
Much
okay.
better.
All right. That's way out there.
Now, for some reason, we can breathe underwater.
We essentially just got the blue key card, so now we can access the underwater.
Okay, so I've always wondered what this oxyale.
They just crammed some syllables together.
Oxygen ale, maybe? I mean, is there some kind of mythological thing that I'm not aware of?
I'm
That's a
sure
reference to?
whatever it was just poorly translated from Japanese. Oxy something. I mean, at least it wasn't oxycodone.
Well, when I remember when it was first translated that way, which was the PlayStation version, I read it as ox yale, as in the yale of an ox. That didn't help. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, that's an interpretation.
Oxiale. Don't let me forget where I parked my airship. I'm trying to get a little closer to the town, but
You're in K-Lot.
at what cost? Yeah. Remember the Simpsons Itchy and Scratchy Land episode? We're parked in Scratchy Lot. There's only two lots.
Which I'm sorry, I saw the picture in my head. mind you, that was followed by another one of their best jokes in the series. You want to buy some itchy and scratchy bucks, sir? What is it? It's like real money, but fun. Give me $3,500.
Oh,
No
God.
place in the amusement park proceeds to accept.
Now that
itchy
I
and
think about it,
scratchy
that
bucks.
particular episode had a ton of memorable one-liners. We are all out of Bort license plates. I repeat, we need more Bort. Oh, God.
Isn't that also the episode where animatronic George Washington goes crazy?
Yes,
Bart
but
advances
it's Scratchy George Washington. Yeah.
No, I must be thinking of the episode
Oh, wait,
where
no.
Selma takes Bart and Lisa to
Duffland.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Duffland.
Yeah, the Hall of Presidents. Yeah, boy, they really they stretched that premise into 2 episodes, didn't they?
Legally distinct land. Oh,
Legally
God,
distinct.
look at this.
All right. Once I get into one door, I can see which other ones have treasure chests. And now I can't remember which way takes me to the Kraken and which way takes me to the treasure trove. So, like I said, we are going to be going through this dungeon twice, technically.
Either way, you'll hit everything, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Boom. Okay, now let's take a look here. There's a treasure chest in the upper left. Nothing
I
down
think that's
here.
it.
And
Oh, there's just a flat out? No, that's
so there's an
arrow. Okay.
upstairs staircase and a downstairs staircase. I think I want to do the downstairs first. I think that takes me to the treasure.
I think you're right.
I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. Because
Again,
I think it
not
starts
too
taking
many.
you downstairs and then it takes you way, way upstairs.
Given the logic of when this game came out, you might not be wrong.
Well, and there's also the fact that somehow I played this game like a month and a half ago, and this knowledge isn't just at the forefront of my memory, which is kind of sad.
Hey, at this age, you got a lot of stuff competing for space in your head.
When you consider how many video games I've actually played over the course of my 34 years, it's really kind of a marvel that the ones that are significant enough to me that they do stick out this much have the real estate in my brain that they
Staying
do.
power.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yep. Okay, we're rolling the dice on downstairs. Sea snakes.
Boy,
Ideally,
they
these should be wiped out by Thundara, but we'll see.
certainly liked just throwing monsters at you every freaking second. My goodness.
You know the hilarious thing, though, is that this is nowhere near the encounter rate of the original. You're right, there are
Really?
plenty of encounters, but it is not even close to
Maddeningly so.
the NES. But anyway, that's, I guess, where we come in with how was your week, Nick?
Well, it wasn't as bad as playing this on the NES, I'll tell you that much. Like, nostalgia is a powerful thing, but man, I got no desire to go back and
No,
I want to play
this
this in the
is-
original Greek. Screw that.
Yeah, no, for me, this is most certainly the definitive way to play this title. The NES, I can't imagine a circumstance where I would ever revisit it, but I guess never say never.
I mean, if you had nothing else to play, and society had collapsed and that's all you had.
And it's just
yeah,
me
I
in
mean,
a broken down storefront with an NES and an old tube TV, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. Hey, I was right. This is, I think, the way that leads us to treasure.
You had a 50-50 chance.
You're right. You are right. So, as of today, it's officially October, which means we're going to be kicking off Spoopy October here real soon. Did you get my text yesterday by any chance?
Yes.
Max
I
is
did,
on board
in the
for
middle of
some
the night.
Friday Phasmophobia.
Yeah, that could be interesting. That game is still churning out the imitators on Steam every day I log in. So, must still be popular then. Someone's still trying to make a quick buck.
It's technically an early access game, but they've got it pretty well polished.
It's
from what I understand.
it's one of those games that are going to be an early access in perpetuity, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's
It just means
yeah,
they'll keep adding new maps to it.
right. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I've heard good things about it.
And the fact that we can get 3 players, possibly 4, in on it, I mean, it'll make it a pretty enjoyable experience.
Which reminds me, at some point we still need to play through, not Condemned, but yeah, Condemned. No,
we've played through Condemned. That was
No,
last
I'm
Spoopy
thinking-
October.
no, I'm thinking of. All right, where's my Steam library?
Gotta figure out what games I still need to play.
we threatened to play this at one point. What was it? Outlast.
Oh, Outlast, yeah. Yeah, that's right. We've not played Outlast on this channel, have we?
We've threatened to.
Nick, this is your dog. I can't help but notice the character named Duncan has 420 HP. What are you implying about my character?
That you're a little chunky, Rex.
Is
Just
it
a
because I
little
have
chunky.
munchies from all the marijuana smoke? Is that what it is? You're saying I'm fat? And I'm a stoner?
The marijuana smoke doesn't make you fat. It's not the smoke that makes you fat.
You shut up!
Got it all wrong, dog man.
This is why Ronald Reagan tried to curb these things. We didn't listen. Anyway.
Man, can you believe that Reagan went, like, straight from the White House to, like, Alzheimer's?
Yes, I can.
Just like,
I mean,
golly,
essentially...
just like how Nixon died pretty soon after he left the White House as well, right?
Yeah, well, and when you think about it, had McCain been president instead of Obama, he would have gotten pretty much right out of the Oval Office and into cancer
The
treatment.
rectangular office. Oh, okay, sorry. I see.
Ba-doom.
Yeah, no. Yeah, valid point.
Though I'm pretty sure a large part of what killed him was the stress of having to deal with Donald Trump for as long as he did.
Oh,
And the party
Lord.
that he deeply cared about.
Speaking of God, how did his party go from the fiscally conservative, finger wagging Bible thumpers to whatever the fuck this is?
You know, I kind of wonder,
down
like...
down to anti-vaccination, doesn't believe COVID happened.
You know, I was going to say, at the very least, McCain was spared the horrors of having to watch Trump handle COVID-19.
He didn't know how bad it was gonna get. Good.
No, he got to die thinking this is as bad as it gets. It can only go uphill from here. Rest in peace, brave soldier. Nope. Oh, what a shit show. Anyway, politics.
Yeah, and by the way, absolutely nothing happened in the news this week.
No, not a
whatsoever.
thing.
I feel like that's just a constant in our episodes now. Nothing happens.
And then nothing happened.
Actually, yeah, that is the theme of this week. Literally nothing happened because none of the spending bills got passed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, in this instance, yeah, pretty much nothing happened, but that's what happened.
Because President Joe Manchin decided he wouldn't sign anything.
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
I just thought it was funny when I read on Politico that Joe Manchin is now being referred to as the president.
Part of me feels like the next time the government shuts down over being at an impasse over a bill, we just leave them shut down. Like, as the American people, we just take that as our cue to appoint a new government.
That almost happened under Trump. I mean, that was like, what, a 37-day shutdown?
Yep. And he was
That
pretty
was a
proud
long
of it,
puppy.
too, if I recall correctly. Like, I don't know why.
Well, most likely because he didn't understand the ramifications of anything going
Yeah,
on.
he just thought it was his way of owning the libs. Anywho.
Speaking of horrible green little monsters, there's a Sahuagin prince.
Yes, there it is. This coming week, in addition to wanting to get started with Phasmophobia for our Spoopy series, Metroid Dread also comes out, and I'm almost tempted to do that kind of like we did Resident Evil 2, where I do separate playthroughs with both you and Max. Just because I know I'm going to get really into that game and want to discover all its secrets.
I could watch you play through it after you've, like, beaten it and you have a decent idea of where you're going. Does that make sense?
Yeah. We also, at some point, need to do Resident Evil 8. But, I mean, at this point, we're talking about a pretty packed October, then.
Who's going to plunk down $70 for that, though?
Who indeed?
Not that that's an issue. I've been wanting to play through it, but we'll see.
Alright. I'm gonna roll the dice here. You know, I think I might have been wrong. I think we're actually headed toward the Kraken.
Well, I mean, either way, it's not like there's some vital item in that box we need for the Kraken.
No. And at this point, we've already started greatly diminishing the duration of the random encounters. Alright, so let's see here. Yeah, this is going to take us pretty close to the Kraken.
I guess that's good, because that'll warp us out of the dungeon, and you can just start over, get through it rather quick, I think.
Yeah, it'll make it pretty quick. Especially because I don't think I actually went back and bought teleport, did I? I'm going to need to correct that.
That's a valid question.
Like, I may need to correct that before we come back into this dungeon.
Well, Chris, you got 20 days to figure out where we're going to be eating dinner and lunch.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're actually coming down to Bloomington here in less than a month.
I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah. The problem is there's so many good options that there's no way we can cover.
Well, like I said, I just want to get some hot pot at some point, and if there's a bagged seafood place, I would like that as well. Anything else is just icing on the pig.
So
icing on the cake.
Icing on the pig.
I don't know where that came from.
I believe they closed down the one seafood place that you're thinking of. I think it was just a COVID casualty, but I am aware of another one that is open. So
that is a sincere shame. I just wanted a bag of seafood thrown in front of me and have them tell me, "Here, eat this shit, prick."
And put this lobster bib on.
That was wonderful. Yeah, I kind of figured COVID would have murdered that.
Well, because it's such a, I don't know. When you're gathered around a pot of seafood and everybody is taking from it, that's a bit different than everybody order a burger and sit at your four corners of the table in silence. You know?
Right.
Probably not a lot of people jumping at doing that when COVID started.
A lot of buffet places ended up getting shut down around here, too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Interestingly enough, the Chinese buffet in town is still going strong.
They always... those Chinese buffets are unkillable.
Well, because they make their workers sleep in the back room, so their turnover costs are very low.
Oh my god, it looks just like Duncan's face.
Oh,
except blue.
Fools, these dark depths shall be your tomb.
Remorsefully.
Bow before the mighty Kraken.
So how's the Kraken floating?
Oh, he seems to be doing...
He's casting a shadow.
What do you do?
I thought the Kraken on Final Fantasy IX was pretty spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He looked pretty similar to this one, only bluer, right?
Yeah, bluer, and he looked more like an octopus instead of a mess of tentacles.
A mess of tentacles. Let me think here. I think I have haste and temper raises their attack. Oh no, 300 damage. What will I do? Though, actually, if he were to attack my white mage a second time, I could be in trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, so long as he plants that hit in the right place, but he probably won't.
But he's probably just going to try to blind one of my characters. Or...
He's going to use slow on someone who's not going to care.
Right.
You are a weird dog, Duncan. He's spread out all over the couch. I don't know how he got to be that long.
Stop judging me.
It's like he got put on the rack or something.
Alright, your move, Kraken. Nope, and he went for my knight. My
Nope.
most durable character.
He decided to slam his head against the wall.
Okay, so we're gonna heal Lara for the hell of it, and... I don't know, do you think it'll be this round or next round that we kill him?
Next round.
Going next round? Yeah, 334. That's not
I
quite
was
the damage we were
expecting
doing
more.
on the fire boss. Well, he is trying.
Well, he's desperately trying to survive.
Just trying to live another day is all he is.
Canonically, what is the thing with the Kraken here? Like, he's from 200 years in the future?
Oh
Or
yeah,
he was...
the timeline is really weird. Like, the Tiamat appeared eons ago, and then Kraken, like, 200 years before, and then the Earth Fiend woke up, and then when you defeat the Earth Fiend, you wake the Fire Fiend up early. But you don't actually see any
Yeah,
of this
I think you're
happen,
correct.
so it's all just...
Right.
Yeah. And technically, if you wanted to, you could go to the Fire Fiend before the Earth Fiend, so that's not even true.
Boy, that would mess up some scripting, I'm sure.
Not at all. They just say what they were going to say anyway.
Unfortunately, you're correct.
They just treat it like you haven't done anything.
I won't fall as easily as the Lich. What?
Huh?
I haven't fought that guy yet.
Oh, you mean... Oh, how embarrassing. No, wait, I just have to make sure I don't have teleport. Yeah, okay, let's go buy teleport.
But where?
It's in the Earth City.
Oh, okay.
Right outside of Lich's cave. Why am I... Well, whatever.
Alright, well, that might help. Took care of one of
Interestingly
them.
enough, it didn't kill the one.
Didn't kill that particular flying seahorse.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a worm, does it? It looks like a seahorse. You're not wrong.
I'm sure the namers and the sprite artists never talked to each other until the game was ready to ship.
That doesn't look like a worm either. Oh, W-Y-R-M. Oh. Bummer. Well, we're both idiots.
We could pull the first 1,000 cartridges off the line and reissue them while you do your name change, or we could just do our job and get paid.
Or we could inspire hundreds of pages of... Damn it, I think I was wrong. It's in the next town over.
Are you sure it's a white magic or is it a black magic?
Well, there's a black magic that takes you to the previous floor, but what's the point of that when you can just warp out of the dungeon?
Well...
Yeah, this is
okay.
the previous floor one. But there's
So you
also
would
one
be
that takes you out of the dungeon. Let's go
You'd
get
be
that.
thinking of exit then.
Yeah, exit. Teleport and exit. I always get them confused. Well, mainly because they switch names
one of them is
depending on
very
which entry of
dumb.
Final Fantasy it is.
Right, well, you never saw teleport. Well, you did see teleport, except you didn't see any of the previous floor stuff. in
Right, yeah, in
future
some
entries.
games it's just teleport, and teleport takes you entirely out of the dungeon.
So how good does triangle strategy look?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were sort of talking about that. There's exit.
Oh, all right, I was halfway thinking it didn't exist.
Oh, I already learned it. Like an
How
idiot.
embarrassing.
What don't I have for her then? Oh, I guess just the endgame spells. Okay. Well, whatever. Whatever.
It's the journey, not the destination.
That's right.
Ugh.
Back to the water place. Yeah. I love how fast they move around this little world. You know, they're just on a quest to hurt enemies, aren't they? As quickly and
Yeah.
efficiently as they can.
The Garland, probably Chaos is probably looking on in this and just absolutely horrified.
I know, it's like
Doing the quick math, trying to figure out what he should take and what he should leave behind.
they just circumnavigated the globe in 14 seconds.
I'm done. I gotta get out of here. I gotta leave town
This is
now.
impossible. They have unlimited magic. Unlimited magic.
I don't know what I was thinking.
What do we do, sir? I never thought I'd say this, but we pray. Oh,
Speaking
shit.
of chaos, how shitty does Stranger of Paradise look?
That's the new
That's the new one.
technically
with,
remake of this game, but who the hell can call it that?
That's the new Final Fantasy spin-off that is a Souls-like hack and slash JRPG RPG. You know,
It's not good.
They're gonna slap everything against the wall.
I played the demo
and then
on
IGN will
PS5.
just eat that shit up anyways.
Yeah, I played the demo on PS5, and you obviously know that I am a sucker for most things Final Fantasy, and that I will unapologetically apologize for just about every entry in the series. That just isn't good. It's gray, it's bland, the action feels gummy and floaty, and I could give two shits about any of the characters that they introduce. I'm sure they'll go into more length to develop the plot, but I'm not sure I even care to know these characters more.
You sure? Based on recent entries?
That's true. They'll probably introduce a whole lot of things about them and then just leave them hanging until the very end, never to be referenced again.
It had a lot of similarities to that Wheel of Time trailer in that, wow, this is the most generic looking fantasy setting I could imagine, and none of this is appealing to me.
Yeah. And I think they were trying to score nostalgia points when you actually fight Garland at the end of the dungeon. But the problem is that there really is no nostalgia to Garland. I mean, he's the first boss of the first game, and that's it. He is a generic knight that wants to knock you down. And
yeah, well, it's like the Star Wars strategy. You know, you just throw some AT-ATs in there, you throw Darth Vader in, and the fans will just eat that shit up. They'll go fucking nuts over it.
But that's the thing, though. I was invested in Darth Vader. I mean, who the fuck was invested in Garland? He's a non-presence for 99% of the game.
It's Final Fantasy TM, and you know, the people will just go nuts over it because hey, there's a miscellaneous reference that I understand, therefore it has value to me.
You know, for all of like the weird names that we've seen from the Final Fantasy spin-offs, I'm surprised they haven't done anything with the initials TM. You know, like Final Fantasy Turbo Marketing.
For that matter, like, when are we gonna get our own spin-off of Biggs and Wedge's story? You know, as long as we're going the Disney Plus route of let's just spin all this shit off.
Wouldn't it be great if they like,
when is Sid gonna get his own game?
I'm sure he has. Merge all of the different iterations of Biggs and Wedge into like, you know, like a cross timeline, basically like Into the Spider-Verse, but nobody gives a shit. Into the Biggs and Wedge verse.
It's going to be revealed that like your teammates are actually Biggs and Wedge, and it's going to like interconnect them too.
Right.
It's going to involve time travel, and it's going to explain how they've been in all these different iterations.
God, this is worse than that time Metal Gear Solid 4 tried to make us care about Johnny.
And you just look at it and you're like, wow, wasn't Final Fantasy XIV a great game?
You know what was hilarious? Yeah. Final Fantasy XIV was a great game.
Final Fantasy XIV threw in all the nostalgia, and it did it correctly because it wasn't patronizing.
Yeah, it rode the nostalgia train, hitting just the right notes along the way.
It's like, hey, you guys want Alexander? Here's Alexander, but he's a giant fortress raid boss, and now you got to run around inside of him and destroy stuff.
Destroy him from the inside out, yeah.
Yeah,
that's a cool mechanic. I actually never fought that boss because, like I said, I kind of...
Oh, it was well after my time as well.
Yeah, I fell off the game before, but I saw videos of it and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, there's just so much good stuff to love with 14. I just don't have the time.
And that's exactly right. Everything in that game looks amazing, but as I watch it, I think, boy, if only I actually had 50,000 hours to invest in, you know, bringing my character up to speed so that I could actually do some of these raid bosses.
But alas.
You're right. The random encounters in this particular dungeon feel a little overbearing.
What other game just had obnoxious amounts of Final Fantasy VI?
Did 6 have
obnoxious
a
amounts?
bad random encounter rate?
6's was exceptionally high, but they were exceptionally easy. 5
Yeah,
was
that's
exactly
true.
the
They
opposite.
were easier.
Significantly fewer, but everything felt like a white knuckle fight.
Yeah, okay.
Which is why I like 5 better from a gameplay perspective. I took 6 for the story, 5 for the actual game.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think anyone would have a bad thing to say about 6's story, but you're right. Gameplay-wise, 5 is still my favorite Final Fantasy for gameplay.
It never mattered what attack you picked in 6. Whatever enemy was on the screen was going to die in one hit anyways.
Right. And then once you got Bum Rush, you just had to Bum Rush.
Yeah, there was just so much spammable stuff that just was an instant kill. I mean, even when you split your party up into 3, it's like, all right, well, everyone still has an instant kill, so, I mean, I'm still not threatened.
And then, barring that, like, if you wanted to take it up another level, you could just learn the Ultima spell, and that was really it.
There were so many ways to break a game that was already broken.
I almost wonder if Ultima, though, like, was originally meant to be harder to acquire than it ended up being, because that game is really thoroughly totaled by the use of that spell.
Didn't you have to choose between one or the other?
Well, yeah,
like you
but
could get
you can get the sword which one
Ragnarok
person
spell?
can use, or you can get the spell that everybody can use and like literally can kill the final boss in 3 hits.
Strangely enough, I think I always went with the sword.
Well, the sword's the better way to... The sword is the more interesting way to go because it doesn't render the rest of the game unplayable.
No, because you just... No, because you would get Ragnarok, which then you could trade up for the Illumina. Yeah, that's right. No, that's right. I always went with the sword because once you put that with the Offering and the Genji Glove and the Atma weapon, that was also a killing machine.
Yep. Yeah.
Just no MP required.
God, I'm so glad that we have the map in this version.
This floor was pretty merciful. I mean, it is a 4x4 grid.
Yeah, but in the NES, when like you couldn't actually see that, it could get a little obnoxious.
I just remembered, wasn't issue number 2 or 3 of Nintendo Power Magazine just strictly a strategy guide for Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was.
It was definitely one of the earlier ones.
I think that was the issue just after the one with the Simon Belmont holding Dracula's decapitated head on the cover.
Early, like late 80s, early 90s Nintendo Power had some of the most fucking metal cover art I've ever seen. I mean, it was cool shit.
No, absolutely. They just kind of, gave him a free hand, and I thought, how many people are actually going to see this?
Got the Rosetta Stone.
Oh, I guess we actually did need to come here. Okay.
Yes. And Diamond Helm. Boom. 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 All right. Everybody feeling good and unkillable? That should be it for this floor. Yep. Okay.
Final Fantasy has always had some of the most delightful armor names. Like all the different pieces of armor, at least were interesting to pick up.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You had your Great Helm, your Cross Helm, your Golden Skull Cap, whatever that was supposed to be.
I think it's just a yarmulke.
A golden yarmulke.
Behold, it is me, the Alpha Jew. Oh God.
Is that not Jesus?
Yeah, that's Jesus. The what was the There are some funky ones too. There's one on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of what it is. I'll think of it like 10 minutes after we finish this episode.
That's usually when these things come about.
Yep.
But 9 had so much armor. It almost had too much.
Where is that fucker? Yeah, 9 did have a lot of armor. Oh, the Minerva bustier for the ladies.
That's right in Final Fantasy VI.
Yes. Which basically means that one of your female characters who are, these unstoppable battle mages, is just running around in their underwear for the final dungeon.
Well, I mean, less clothes means more armor somehow.
Somehow. It makes the ladies more desperate to protect themselves, and so their defense goes up. Now we can speak Lufenian too. I like how
Rosetta
you
Stone
don't
is-
get any actual item. You just have the knowledge of how to speak this language.
It's just like the old Rosetta Stone commercials.
Yeah, right.
Within 6 to 8 weeks, you too will learn German, just like these white people.
Before
the
it got
commercial.
replaced with what's it called, Duolingo.
Yeah.
And the weirdly threatening little owl. Hey, I noticed you haven't done your 15 minutes today. You sure you want to eat? Look, you want to spend time with your family or you want to learn Spanish?
Because you can't do both.
I won't let you do both.
That needs to be a horror movie. A language learning app that gets way out of control.
Yeah, right. It just starts threatening your family.
Or just a phone app that like a feed your cat, like klepto cats. Like, hey, you haven't fed your cat today, and like lightning needs to strike the house, and then like you see the phone like flicker, and then like the app comes to life, and then the cat is sentient, and it's like, no, you didn't feed me. Now I'll eat you, bitch.
Didn't you just describe Pet Cemetery?
Okay, you know what? It'll be like the revamped version of Pet Cemetery that didn't suck, I guess.
Did you know that they did a new version of Pet Cemetery within the last 2 or 3 years? Apparently it was so not worth watching that I never even heard of it until recently.
What did I literally just say?
Oh, there you go.
Another version that just didn't suck.
All right, which one of you gives me the MacGuffin? You there.
That's
MacGuffin
a good
me.
question because they all look the same. They're all
I know,
white.
right? I think he's on the other side of town. I'm wrong. Move it. Move. Move. Warriors of Light coming through. I think one of them will also sell me some endgame spells.
This highly advanced civilization, I don't see one
Probably the
Walmart,
sedentary one here. There we go. We got the MacGuffin.
though. Yay-ha.
You obtain the chime. Sky people. They don't like when you call them that.
God, I was gonna say that sounds like something you're not allowed to see anymore.
They prefer the vertically inclined people. Thank you. Here we go.
vertically superior.
Vertically superior. Oh shit. You're a full life. Never use it, but we have it.
Just in case.
Flare, we will use it, and now we have it. Alright. We're pretty much end-gaming the shit out of this game now. What are these winter wolves doing here in the middle of a tropical forest?
Well, one of them got loose from the village and multiplied, and this is what we have.
Yeah,
They've
right.
replaced
There
the
was no
original
natural
ground wolves
predator
in
to
the
take 'em out.
ecosystem.
Oh god.
This is what we've got.
Weren't you telling me the story about Pablo Escobar's hippos or something like that?
Oh god, don't even get me started. That's like one of my favorite pieces of trivia.
Nick Daly checks the news to see if there's any update on them.
I literally have Pablo Escobar's hippos on a quick read. Every time that pops up into the news, I get an alert on my phone.
One day you're gonna wake up and you're just gonna see your phone flash and alert you the hippos have taken the capital.
It's happening.
Finally! Yes!
But yeah, Pablo Escobar, he had his own little zoo, and
Well, now it's everybody's zoo.
now it's everybody's problem. Nobody took care of the hippos, and eventually the hippos took care of themselves.
Technically, we're their zoo.
They overran the town, and the townspeople tried to shoot them, but their hides were too powerful.
Uh-huh.
The bullets from their rifles literally could not penetrate the hides, and they're breeding out of control. And it's a mess because they're destroying the ecosystem.
It
What
sounds...
is this, a tiny black knight?
Yeah, I know. Look how cute they are.
It's like they scaled down garlands.
Behold the mighty Black Knight! Cower and tremble before me!
You fools! I'll get you! Oh, God. Well, plenty of treasure on this floor.
Is it just me, or is this dungeon short? I forget.
Yeah, this is short. This is the one that leads you to the Flying Fortress. And the Flying Fortress is actually really straightforward, too. It's got a few, like, offshoot rooms where you can collect treasure, but it's really just a, like, level after... Like, it doesn't have a branching path, like...
mercifully straightforward after everything else you've had to do.
Yeah, where we just came from.
Okay, that makes sense.
Bring it on.
Healing Helm.
Yeah, second one. Ooh, and a Vorpal Sword. I think that's for the Red Mage, though, which we don't have.
Yeah, I often played through this game thinking Red Mage gets all the cool stuff, but then I remembered I have to play through it as a Red Mage.
Yeah, which is no fun for anybody. No, you vanquished again! You're right, those things are freaking adorable. Aegis Shield, nice. Just periodically remind me to go through and optimize my party.
This is one of those games where it's like you're constantly outstripping all of your best gear every 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, well, by modern standards, it's such a short game, and in the original, you straight up had to enter a dungeon, clear a floor, and then exit to get all of your resources back, and then go back in and
save. Yeah.
Yeah, you were meant to kind of hang on to that stuff a lot longer. Because, like, one dungeon was meant to take you multiple trips. We might have to end this episode on a quick save, because we're fast approaching the hour mark here.
Golly, that's right. And YouTube won't allow us to make any videos over the 59-minute mark.
I was going to say, I bet you we could clear Tiamat within another 15 minutes, but I don't want to get cocky either.
You can probably get to the end of the tower. Right?
Oh, well, the tower will be there in like 5 minutes, if that. Assuming the random battles fucking let up. Which they won't. So, Nick, can you think of any other, like, maybe one or two episode spoop games for October?
Oh, I'm sure there's all manner of stuff we can grab off Steam. There's a couple I think I've got tabbed. Like, oh, this is interesting for like $3. We can get an hour's worth of entertainment from this. Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Okay. Because part of me, like you said, doesn't want to plop down the $70 for Resident Evil 8 yet.
I'm just so ambivalent about, like, am I going to enjoy this or not?
Well, for me, Resident Evil is great when it actually taps into some fear elements, which I'm told is sorely lacking from 8. Like, one of the worst things that I think that series ever did was Resident Evil 4, which I'm well aware everybody loves, but it really took the series into more of an action game, and I just don't... I can play other action games.
Quite recovered from until 7.
Yeah, right. And 7 brought, the spoops back in a big way, and I don't know.
I've become convinced that I don't actually like Resident Evil. I just happen to like Resident Evil 7.
You liked Resident Evil 2 remake.
I don't know. That was that was a good game, but like, can I see myself playing it? That's the question.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed watching you play through it. Yeah.
Now, Nick, you could absolutely see yourself playing a modded version of the game where it's just you and Mr. X playing cat and mouse until the game ends, but...
That was the best part of that game.
It was, yeah. I will fully admit that.
It's over so quick, and then he's replaced by freaking tentacle monster. I'm like, I've only seen 1,000 of
Nemesis
these.
was definitely a big missed opportunity in the remake of 3. It was still a really good game, but Nemesis just wasn't there long enough to really be as impactful as Mr. X.
Like I said, just maybe that's why I liked 7 so much, because you had that more constant threat. But
yeah, no, the few parts where like Jack was actually dogging you were pretty intense.
It reminds me of that old game where you are constantly being chased. Not Clock Tower, but the game that they made after that. The Haunting Ground.
Oh, I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, that was a terrific little game.
I never played it, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I
you're just
know it's a spiritual
constantly
successor
being
to Clock
chased.
Tower, but
No, it was the same team and all.
well, yeah, but I mean, it wasn't called Clock Tower, so it's a spiritual successor.
What did I say? I probably did that thing again. Oh, right, the Haunting Ground.
Haunting Ground,
right.
yeah. No, there was a one.
That'd be an interesting game to play if we could, as I say, get a copy. But
There was a
maybe
game
I can find one laying around here. Yo ho ho.
That'd be fun. That would actually be something to do when you get over here, because we could just hook up a PS2 and play it together.
Well, getting a copy of that because it didn't sell too well on its first run in the United States,
And then it became a rarity, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they. Yeah.
well, what I was going to say is there's a game that came out a few years ago, and I'm struggling to remember the name, but it started off as a remake of the original Clock Tower, and then it was like in development hell for like close to a decade, and then they rebuilt it from the ground up as its own thing, and I can't remember what it's called.
Was it Remothered?
Remothered, yeah, that's it.
Why do I know this?
Probably because I talked to you about it before. I was really excited about it this time 10 years ago, you know, and then they just
I remember in a completely different direction.
I remember they came out with a big announcement. It's like, oh, you were so excited about Clock Tower Remothered? Well, we're rebuilding it from the ground up. And then they show like this horrible looking 3D animated version of the main character of Clock Tower. I'm like, oh, that looks just awful. Why are they doing it? Because it started out as a 2D sprite-based game, and it was really atmospheric. And
I feel so bad. You thought I'd be excited by this.
Well, and then it's like, okay, so I'm not as excited about it now, but what is he trying to use the warp cube to travel beyond this? Oh, I didn't get the warp cube. We just have the chime.
Oh, how dumb.
I just killed all of our momentum, Nick.
Where's the warp cube?
The warp cube is let me think. We've got the chime. What do we do with the chime? We take the chime to next time on Play the Hits.
The game facts.
Yes, to game facts. Quick, to the laboratory. We'll see you next time, Nick.